Alright lads, how well done?
Good man.
Aye, all good.
Boys. Okay, good. Shanks, good to have you back. What's been happening?
I've just been sat on my hands up like this. Did we beat Celtic?
Nope, put them back down.
That's for fuck's
I fucking ruined it. Ruined it for you, man. You've just been sat for 2 weeks with your hands up there.
I've not done it.
You know, the internet, is that what's been wrong? Well, in your world, we're probably still unbeaten, so you'll be fine. You can just pretend.
We've just pumped Bordeaux.
Yeah, don't give away my Shanks McCants for last week. As always, what's been happening, Ando?
Not much, man. Most of the night, and well, in fact, disappointing result the weekend. I'm not even going to bother talking about that. But tonight, buzzing, obviously for the interview that we're about to play very, very shortly. So, aye, I'm feeling energised and full of life, which is unlike me for a change.
Aye, just good. Obviously, we'll have about 50, 55 minute long interview with Josh Ginnelly of Hearts fame coming up soon, so that'll be cool. Kev, what's been happening?
Not a great deal. All quiet. Didn't bother discussing the game on Sunday. Got absolutely pished on Saturday, which was perfect. And looking forward to listening to Shagger on the podcast.
Shagger is good value for money. From one Shagger to another. Shanks, what have you been up to since the last time we seen you?
See what you did there. I've been a taxi driver, basically. My in-laws have arrived from another country to meet their first grandchild. So I've just been basically rolling about doing whatever the fuck I'm told to do. And I've got no idea what's going on in the world of Hearts. So nothing has really changed in my life.
I was going to say that's normally what happens anyway in terms of the world of Hearts. We'll fill you in on what's happened on Sunday when we're back to
That's the only reason I still come on this podcast, to be honest, just to keep up to date.
Well, there's an update for you. If you look at the video, you'll see Kev's got a new cardboard box and he's cracked it.
He's added to it.
Yep.
That
is new, isn't it? Right, I knew I wasn't making that up. Yes.
That's the dining room table, mate.
And for everybody drinking
Why is that
along
not a
with
pool table?
Everybody drinking along with the This Is My Story podcast drinking game, we have already mentioned Kev's cracked in. So there you go. You can take a shot.
There you go.
You can take a shot. There, we're on the hard stuff, aren't we? As always, welcome back to This Is My Story podcast, your unofficial Hearts podcast. As we say every week, all of the opinions are our own and always total nonsense. So this week, we obviously just sat down there with Josh Ginnelly, Shagger number 1, spoke about his time with Hearts, got some good value, good insight and stuff like that into how he's feeling, where he's at mentally, thoughts for the season ahead, and just how buzzing he is for signing Shanks' peace box. You can take another shot if you're playing along with the drinking game at him. That's as mentioned, the packed lunch already. But Josh was class, wasn't he?
Aye, he was. Well, the other two have not heard it yet, but obviously I was sitting quietly in the background recording it all, and I don't know how many times I laughed my ass off at him ripping the piss out his teammates. It was actually good value, but then obviously a couple of wee serious points in there as well. But it's really is worth a listen. It's brilliant.
And yes, I did refer to him as Josh.
Hashtag LMFAO. That's
Well, I don't care. We're all pals now. You're correct, Corbett. You're right to call him by his first name.
Because we are best pals.
Exactly.
Cool. So as always, you can catch us on Twitter at This My Story Pod. You can get in contact with us at the website, which is admin at thismystory.uk, and you can catch us on Instagram, thismystory1874, or you can catch us on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
There you go.
There you go. Professional.
Get that goodness.
Professional. That's what we want. So we'll quickly do some Shanks McCant Remembers from last week, and then we'll dive into the Ginnelly interview. So, Shanksy boy, you weren't here last week, so we had an attempt at doing our own Shanks McCant Remember, where we basically describe a game in true Shanks fashion. So, Kev, what game were you? They were
absolute dog shit.
They were horrendous.
Oh, they were garbage.
Horrendous. Kev, what horrendous game were you describing?
So my horrendous game, I don't know if you want me to go through the actual the little clues, but I'm going to anyway.
Not got enough.
All right then, fine. Fuck you then. No worries. My Shanks McCann Remember was literally a game I cannot remember, and it was the away game against Real Mallorca, in which we actually kicked off because we weren't happy with the height of the crossbar at one end.
It was something about the middle eight or something, wasn't it? The middle eight was too low or something. Again, who cares? We won and everybody was right. It was a weekend away.
Who was the keeper?
Roddy McKenzie, probably. Miles Hogarth, friend of the show. And what game did you describe?
Mine was for the 2nd of January 2003. It was the Edinburgh derby at Tynecastle where we beat Hibs 4-4. That was the game. Brilliant day at that.
Shanks, you want to jump in here and remind everybody that was your ball boy season, or are we just moving on?
Oh, was it?
Was it?
I don't know, I think so. You were a ball boy right
probably.
up to you were about 27, so...
Actually, you're right, because I remember as I went to jump on at full time over the advertising hoardings, I seen a wee ginger kid with his packed lunchbox sitting next to him with loads of signatures on it. It must have been...
Did they kick fuck it? Yeah.
Definitely was your ball boy season.
Andrew, did you just get attacked by a fly?
My season was De Vries's debut, as far as I remember, and Graham Weir scoring against Celtic in injury time. I forget that 4-4 game. Apologies. I know that's probably going to crucify me on Twitter, but fair play.
I'm almost certain that Graham Weir only ever scored against Hibs. I can't remember him ever scoring against Celtic.
Was it
Nice.
Austin McCann?
Austin McCann is the one that scored in the last minute, but that was a classic. Did Tam do one? I remember what Tam was.
I think he did, but I don't know.
Could it be that worth to mention?
Nah, he probably had to leave halfway through it to go for a pee. So, nah,
it's true.
We probably never heard the end of it.
And you probably got it right. It was absolute garbage, probably. And then my one was getting beat at home by Bordeaux, which was a classic moment. Right, since yours were terrible, give us what everybody wants this week. Shanksy boy, what are this week's Shanks McCant Remember?
Well, use fucking Hibs that. So time for me to save it.
Terrible patter. Don't ever use that Hibs dip patter again. That's awful.
Comes back to
cut that bit. Right. So I thought I would not be miserable again, and I'll kick us off with a defeat, but I'll save us as we move through. So game number 1, and I'm not going to just talk slavers about how I curbed my alloy on my Peugeot 206 on a fucking cold, wet, miserable night with my ma on a Wednesday in Fir Park, and we're actually going to talk football. So game number 1. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A minute's silence for Wallace. Lily burst our bubble of welcoming back a former hero on the 23rd minute. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as it looked. The dish fed in Danny soon after with the only goal of the game. That's your first one.
Thank you.
Number 2. Avoiding line-out potholes, Jules still managed to run the show. Running out 2-0 victories, the tomato chuckers went home looking like dafties. Number 3. Get a haircut, put them 1-0 up. The wank levelled. The beast got booked for cupping his balls at the weigh-in support, then bulleted in a header in the 76th minute to secure all 3 points.
You stop telling that story. How many incarnations of this story are we going to get of this goal, man?
Can't have me listen back to the episodes. Stop ruining it. If you would like to go back to our back catalogue, please go back to episode 8, 19, 24, and now.
37. Nice. Well,
good to have you back, Shanks.
I've basically run out of games now, so if we need a new
we need a new feature again. We'll run out of players.
Let's hope we win at the weekend, because I'll give you a clue. Next week's Shanks McCann Remember will involve Aberdeen on Sunday.
Yeah. Cool. As always, we will have the picture and the graphic ready for you this week because we forgot it last week. So The only person that we can remember that got it absolutely right for all the Shanks McCanns last week was Football Daft. So well done for playing and listening and getting involved. But we'll have the graphic up this week. So again, just keep an eye on it in social medias for all that. Cool. As promised, we'll dive into now an interview with Josh Ginnelly. Cool. How you doing, Josh? You alright?
Good, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Are you going to be offended if I called you Shagger? That's what everybody on Twitter wants me to keep calling you Shagger, so that's what's happening.
I've seen it, mate. I've seen it. No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
That's Scottish part. That's a good thing, though. That's a
Yeah,
good thing.
no, I've heard it around the club a few times as well, so I'll take it.
That's what you want anyway, because that comes to my first question. Was me tweeting you nearly every day for about 4 months? Was that the reason why you signed for Hearts? Me calling you Shagger, get back up there.
Do you know what? That one actually did stand out to me. Like every time it's just a specific name, just saying Shagger every time. But now, obviously, all the like support from the fans and that, and you know, I couldn't tweet about anything because underneath it would say sign the contract, or I don't know if you've seen it, the Mike Tyson one when he's saying sign the contract, big boy, or whatever.
Yeah.
That must have came out about 20 times, but nah, I think obviously the fans sort of pushed me towards making my decision.
And I think that's a testament to yourself as well, because we'll come on and we'll talk about last season and some of your own frustrations or how you felt the season went and all that sort of stuff. But I think you played like 8 games or something last year, and the fact that, like you said, every single time you tweeted in it, and you could have said take my dog a walk, and it'd have just been battered with sign the contract, get up the road. So I think that's testament to you as to how much the sort of fans pure took to it. And again, we'll obviously talk about what's happening on Sunday and just the buzz that to have fans back and to be able to see like yourself and Boyce and Gary Mackay-Steven and that, like the attacking players, the guys that you want to be sort of getting G'd up, having 20,000 behind you and all that sort of stuff. It'll be sensational on Sunday. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, soon as I think it was round about 1 p.m. last week sometime that it came out, or I must have seen it. I was like, oh, full capacity now. So instantly, like, there was a buzz in the changing room. And I think just obviously with our fans being as passionate as they are, it's like for the attacking players, especially because we know we're probably going to lose the ball most of the time. Like me, Gaz, Boyce, we're going to lose the ball a lot more than anyone else. But obviously when that one thing comes off and you hear that noise, it's like, oh, like you can't explain it. It's amazing.
You feel sorry for the boys in the middle of the park like Haring or Halliday or whoever that have to do the pure dog work, but didn't get any cheers. They get absolute battered if they give one ball away, and then you could maybe try 30 lollipops and none of them come off, and you beat one guy once and you've got a standing ovation.
Yeah, it's mad. Halliday won't be happy about it either. But now I think you know what, like obviously we've set up as like a different formation this year, and like the likes of me, Boyce, and Gaz as well. Like the positions that we have to pick up when the team works to get us the ball, we have to like produce. So you know what, the boys understand that there's going to be games where might give it away 50 times or something, but it's that 51st time that actually wins us the game. So yeah. And I think with the quality that obviously Gaz and Boyce bring, it's, you know, you can't really argue with that.
And again, it's one of the things that's probably, when you were talking about coming up to Hearts, it's the number one selling point, I'd imagine, to players when the club are talking to you. You know, they talk about, look at the stadium when it's bouncing, you know, 20,000, you'll never play in an atmosphere like it. Everybody talks about it in Scotland, and for, you know, loads of guys that signed last year, you know, playing in that stadium and it was empty. You look at the reaction to the Celtic game, there's only 5,000 at the Celtic game. You watch, you've probably seen it, but Souttar's interview after the game, Benny's interview after the game, you can't hear what they're saying, and that's 5,000. There'll be four times that many on Sunday. So I think everybody's buzzing. Like, it should be a great game. Like,
yeah, I think like obviously that's going back to what I said about like the passion that surrounds the club and the people in it. I think I can definitely say I've been to places where there's 30,000-40,000 fans, but there's only 5,000 actually singing. And at Tynecastle, I've seen a video go out of like of me. I must have just come off,
Aye.
and they started singing, and it was like, you've probably seen it yourself. You've been to places and that side won't sing, that side won't sing, but then there's a little
Aye.
bit in the corner. And at Tynecastle, it's like everybody's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So I think
Aye.
that's why the atmosphere is so, like, it's electric. Like, a lot of boys say they hate playing there in terms of, you know, other teams coming to us. So, you know,
Aye.
that'll probably be a factor as well Sunday.
And that's a big thing. Like we've said to the club as well, like we've been quite lucky that we've been managed to sort of talk to the guys at clubs and sort of try to arrange displays and talk about being able to get like singing sections and things together, because it should be, like you said, if it's rocking, it's that old proverbial like the 12th man type thing, but genuinely it's like you'll see it Sunday, you'll experience what it'll be like. It'll be absolutely bouncing Sunday, the first
Yeah.
20 minutes of that match. If we get an early goal, the place will be, you know, it'll be like a cup final atmosphere. It's the strongest part, and that's why guys like yourselves, you're the ones that will get probably the most backing, the most buzz, because they're the type of players that Tynecastle just loves to see. You know, wingers taking on players, try to create chances and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be some laugh. I was going to say we'll go through a load of stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about this season, we'll talk about last season, but we might as well start here and now with just yourself. We just come out of pre-season. How are you feeling? How's fitness? What's your thoughts for this sort of season ahead type thing?
Yeah, I've been happy with myself, to be honest. I'd say, like, obviously I wanted to do a lot more in the games. I think we've had, say 3 tough games now, and like I wanted to do a little bit more, but I'm sort of taking my time with myself in terms of, like, I don't want to demand too much from myself so early on, and having the season that I had last season, it's like I want to get through and just build up rather than just go all in and then come out. So I've been happy, to be honest. You know, I played night. I think what game was it? I think it was the Cove game, maybe. It was my first 90 minutes in over 2 years. So, like, for me to get through that and not have any issues I was just happy, to be honest. And you know, we've done a lot in pre-season in terms of running and strength work, and I'm fully fit now. You know, I'm training every day. I'm not missing any sessions. So yeah, I'm delighted, mate. I'm just looking forward to what happens.
And they're hard games to play in it. From fans' point of view, you know, we say our Hearts versus Cove Rangers or Peterhead or whatever you think, oh, we'll brush them aside. That's no hassle. But it's dead. They're cut finals to those teams. Do you know what I mean? They come and make it really difficult for us to get on the ball, and especially folk like yourself or Gary Mackay-Stephen or Boyce or whatever. They'll be targeted. You know, they'll try and put 2 men on you. They'll try and press you whenever you have the ball. And then you've come up against Celtic as well 2 times as well. They're difficult games to navigate, which is why, like, now that we've sort of got over that difficult opening, it'll be good to see teams like come to Tynecastle and actually open up and try and play against us, because that gives you guys the best opportunity, you know, to get in behind and get on the ball and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think for obviously me, Gaz, and Boise, wherever we go in terms of the lower league teams or a team that we're expected to beat, like, little things like they won't water the pitch, they won't, like, put us in a decent changing room or put us in somewhere that is just like everyone's on top of each other. Like, a lot of teams do these kind of things to actually stop you from playing the way they know you want to play. So, you know, we expect that, and we also expect people coming to Tynecastle, and you know, they don't get that many numbers at their club, so you know, they'll come bringing their A game and want to impress. So, but we like that, and I think we've got enough quality in our team to cause anybody problems. So
Yeah, I think we've absolutely seen that. What, we're 11 undefeated until Sunday or whatever, and don't get me wrong, yeah, you could argue the opposition, but you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. You know, that's a total disservice to you guys and to the management team or whatever. It's not that easy just to show up and beat teams. And like I said there, like I noticed St Mirren, they were a bit heavy-handed with Gary Mackay-Stephen. You know, you get a couple left on him dead early as well, which is always hard to sort of to judge in it. It's always hard to when you come up against someone that wants to leave a foot in or does a wee professional fouls and wee niggly things, it takes you completely out your rhythm.
yeah, I mean, if you look at Gaz, he's one of them players, like, He's like Houdini, mate. Honestly, like one minute he's there, 1 minute he's not, and his feet are so sharp that these boys sometimes they probably don't mean to kick him. They see the ball there and they go for it, but by the time they stretch out, he's gone. So like,
Surely you're getting him stick for falling in that river now. Surely there has to be part about that.
Do you know what Gaz is like? I don't know. He's so funny in his own way that like he's so like I don't even know what the word is. It like conservative or whatever. He's just so like he ain't gonna tell you it. You have to ask him. But when he answers, it's such a dumb answer. But we've spoke to him about the river situation, and it's like it's so funny, mate. Honestly, just because the way he is, it makes it like 5 times funnier, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, because it just doesn't seem like the type of thing he would do.
He's so honest. I laugh at Gaz like a lot. I just watch him sometimes, mate. It's so funny.
There's already 2 memes for Gaz this season already. Where there's one where he's making a ridiculous face at Boyce, and then I think after when Boyce made it 2-0 at St Mirren Day, he was giving the St Mirren fans some stick in that as well. Like he was turning, giving it 2-0 in that, which again, like you said, it just seems so out of character for him. You'd expect maybe Halliday or something like that to be giving it big to the crowd, but to see him doing it's funny. Like,
Gaz, he's a funny guy, honestly, mate. He's funny.
So obviously you said there you're feeling a lot fitter, or you're sort of ready to go type thing. How about life in Edinburgh? How have you settled in? Obviously, you said you finally sort of moved in up here now. How are you finding your time up here?
Yeah, I love it. You know, I haven't seen too much of it, obviously, because of the lockdown and stuff like that. But last season, I was living in an apartment in town, so I did get to see like bits of it, and even there, it was quite chilled as well. But I've recently moved. I've been moving in for the last couple of weeks now. But now I'm settled, and things are opening back up. I'll definitely be in town a lot more, trying to see what it's about. But I love it up here, mate. Yeah,
It's been one of those things we've said a few times of various people we've spoke to, but I think it's one of the things that's underestimated about how big an impact COVID had in terms of that. Like you coming up here, stuck in an apartment, maybe by yourself, you can't go out for dinner with your teammates, you can't go to the cinema, you can't do like things that you would normally do just to chill, or like you said, walk about. You're in the capital of Scotland and you can't wander about, go shopping, get a coffee or whatever. Has that been a hard thing to sort of balance?
in a way, yeah. But I think obviously, I think sometimes you have to sort of look at it as everybody's in the same boat. Like I'm not here to go and see the city. I'm here to actually like perform. So obviously there were some days like my family weren't able to come up because you had to have a test to come up places, or you had to sort of you're coming up to sit in a house and not go anywhere. So it was tough, and obviously that actually plays like a big part in some people's season. But for me, it was more just sort of like wanting to go out on the pitch. I would have happily stayed in the lockdown now as long as I was fit. So I think obviously there's pros and cons to it. You're not going out like sort of on a Friday when you should be resting and stuff like that. And then, it's like your mindset as well. And I think everybody throughout this pandemic has probably had a different look on life in terms of just what actually matters and what don't matter. So there's pros and cons, as I said, but no, it's all right.
And that's a big thing I think that you'll notice on sort of Sunday and all that sort of stuff is, like you said, the one thing we took for granted was the football club. Do you know what I mean? And you didn't realise the absolute massive impact that a football club has on like the community and people and all that. We've started like this podcast on the back of COVID and the initiatives that we've been involved with on the back of it, like for men's mental health, and we do a thing called Talk of the Town, which is like Hearts fans. We were getting sort of Hearts fans messaging us to be like, the podcast has helped get us through, and then we messaged the club to be like, are you getting this kind of message? And they were like, we're inundated with people that are like, you've no idea how much I miss just got to watch Hearts, or people that used to go watch training or whatever. And I think Sunday, I know we've had 5,000, we've had 2,000 or whatever, but the fact that Sunday comes and it's no restrictions, full season tickets, full house, I think it's going to be proper emotional day for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that'll obviously, as I said before, that'll play a big part in us getting a win. And we're all expecting to hear the noise that they bring. And for myself as well, like I've seen 5,000, as you said, so I can only imagine what 20,000 is going to be like. So the place will probably be vibrating, mate.
Do you have Lockie? Does he get involved in the in the dressing room? Do you have to put up with Gary Locke, or do you...
You know what? I haven't seen much of him. I'll be honest. I haven't actually seen much of him. But I think that's probably going off the back of all this COVID stuff. So like, I'm sure I'll start seeing more of him. Yeah.
Give him the week of the derby. He'll probably be in trying to do Robbie's team talks and all that. He's absolute heart's daft as Gary Locke.
No, I'll look out for him, mate. Don't worry.
He's a funny boy. He's a funny boy. If he ever invites you on a night out, say no. You didn't want to go on a night out down Edinburgh with Gary Locke. You'll get in hundreds of trouble. So what obviously we're talking about there. How did you find last season? Obviously, it was a season that ultimately was successful for Hearts, but probably from our own standards, we didn't reach the heights that we probably should have or are capable of. Obviously, we had the sort of highs of knocking Hibs out in the semi, which obviously you missed, and then you're back in time for the cup final. And how did you find last season for yourself?
On a personal note, just frustrating, but at the same time, I was still happy to be at Hearts. I think I've never really opened up about this, but when I actually first came to Hearts, it was sort of all or nothing for me, because I'd had a tough, probably 2.5 years, and to be honest with you, I didn't even watch a game of football. I didn't, even stupid things. I weren't getting boots. I didn't want them. So I come to Hearts. I started enjoying my football again. I think that's why the fans actually see me being this happy guy, because realistically the club sort of made me love football again, in terms of just the people inside the place and my teammates and stuff. But obviously the injuries came, but that's always going to happen when you haven't played in so long and the training load changes. But I think obviously a credit to the boys. Obviously there were some disappointing days, but there'll be disappointing days this year as well. So I think the main objective was to beat Hibs, which the gaffer implemented the first day we was in, and we came in 3 weeks before everyone else did. That's the Prem and the champ, so it just sort of shows how much everybody wanted to beat Hibs, and the boys got that done, and then obviously got to the final and won the league as well. So obviously I did sort of hear about all the nonsense that went on in terms of the voting and stuff like that, but I think the boys just show character there to just say, all right, you've done us wrong, so we'll just come up, done it the hard way, and it's a credit to everyone who was amongst that.
Yeah, because like I said, it's 27 cup finals for all the teams that you're playing against, and you get a side that come to Tynecastle or we go to them and they get a draw. That's headline news for them. Do you know what I mean? And you said there, you can have 30 or 40 boys smashed into a couple of porta cabins, try to get changed, do you know what I mean? Like all the usual stuff that goes on with the cold waters and showers and all that type of stuff, and it can be difficult to get going. So from a personal point of view, that's something as well that's overlooked in football is how hard it is to deal with injuries and stuff, isn't it? It can be, most people think you get injured and you're sort of surrounded by the club and the clubs do this and you're always, but a lot of it's sort of just by yourself, isn't it? It's a lot of rehabilitation, it's a lot of sort of time just suck watching everybody else do the thing that you love.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many games where even if we'd won, I was happy, because obviously I hand on my heart, I want every single player in our team to do well and enjoy their football. So, but little parts of me, like the Hibs win, after the game, the boys were buzzing around in the changing room, and I was buzzing for them, but deep down inside, it was I wanted to be part of that, and I wasn't. But I mean, there's plenty of down days in football, more down days than good days. So it's just sort of a mentality thing, never too high, never too low. So
is that maybe one of the reasons why you sort of came up to Scotland, just to try and break break the cycle, just a fresh start, new club, new place, and try to kickstart yourself, because like you said, maybe struggling with the injuries, and think, well, that's a great opportunity to sort of cut ties and get out your comfort zone almost.
Yeah, I think like for me, if it back in England, I think I'd done every single level. Obviously, apart from the Premier League, I started off in the conference, then we had to go back to the conference, went to League Two, went to League One, got to the champ, and unfortunately, what happens, like I didn't really get a chance. So for me, it weren't a case of let me go back to League One, because I don't think League One football's anywhere near as good as the Scottish Prem, in my opinion. And obviously knew I was going to Hearts in the Championship, but I knew that wouldn't be the case in a year's time.
Yep.
So it's sort of it's the best decision I've made in a long time. And as I say, I go in every day and I'm happy to be there, and that's regardless of everything else surrounding that. Nothing matters apart from your happiness. So I'm happy. Yeah.
And that's buzzing. I'm buzzing to hear that as well, because that's good. That's something that Hearts, obviously, you'll know, you said there about the votes and the fact that we're in the Championship is something that sticks with Hearts fans, and Hearts for a while now have sort of not been where we would expect them to be, and a load of that has come from, fans would say loads of players that were either not enjoying their football when they were at Hearts, or didn't get what it meant to play for the football club and that. And so to hear you talking about, the fact that you're absolutely buzzing to be here, and the fact that we're part of a side that Robbie, whether you love Robbie or no, he absolutely delivers results with Hearts, and he always seems to get what Hearts is all about, if you know what I mean. Like, he understands the demands and the pressure to be a Hearts manager, and it's clear that he obviously puts that on you as well.
Yeah, I think obviously a lot went on last season, but I think in terms of obviously what the fans want to see from the players and the manager, there's nobody in the club that actually works as hard as the gaffer does and his staff. So obviously, like, a lot goes on when I don't know if we've played poorly or whatnot, but I think that's just passion from the fans. Obviously, sometimes they'll probably look at it the next day and think, "Nah, I've been a bit harsh there," and we all do it. Like, you might go out today or tonight or whatever, and somebody does something, you overreact.
Yeah.
And the day after, you think, "Nah, it's not that bad. Like, come on." But I get it. He works hard, and everybody's pulling in his direction, and that'll continue.
And that, well, like you said, we can see that through spells on the park and all that. Obviously, you have situations like Sunday where fans, we were raging on Sunday first half or whatever, but then like you said, you calm down and you think, well, I'm almost certain we never set up to let them have as much possession as they ended up having. Things, you can't underestimate the fact that they're a good team as well. And when we actually did get going second half, we caused them a lot of problems. And on another day, we could have potentially got something from the game. So you're right, football's a passionate thing, and for the last 2 years, this has been football for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've watched it on live streams, you've spoke about it on Twitter. You normally, like you said there, if this was a Saturday afternoon, you watch Hearts, you go to the pub for half an hour with your pals after it, you do your football manager thing where you say he should be playing here, he should be doing that, I should be doing this, and then you go home and Sunday you forget about it. But because we've not had that, you go home and you're getting riled up because you're on Twitter, and then you things just spiral, and suddenly you're raging at the world for no reason, which is never healthy for anybody. So this season obviously started pretty well. Like, obviously the league is always going to be, for me anyway, the priority in terms of where we need to finish. So how have you felt so far this season and the games you've been involved in?
I think I've been happy. Like, obviously, I've as I said before, I've wanted to do more, but like, that'll come, and I think we're still getting used to certain things, and I've got to sort of adapt my game around that. So that'll come. Like, I think the main thing is that we have back-to-back wins in the league. So that, to me, if I have to sacrifice my own performance and wants and needs and whatever for 3 points, that's what any footballer would do. It's okay if I score a hat trick and we lose 4-3. I don't know why I'd be happy. Because obviously, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to do what, everybody wants to have all the write-ups about them and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think achieving something with a team is a lot better for everybody. You know what I mean? So, you know, we've won 2 league games out of 2, and we're hoping to win again Sunday.
And like you said, I think it's a difficult league. We spoke about it there as well. We'll talk about it in a wee bit's time about the difference between England and Scotland and all that sort of stuff. But like we play Aberdeen on Sunday, and I can't make up my mind if I think Aberdeen are any good or not, because they've looked brilliant. They've done well in Europe. But then they get beat off Rafe on Sunday there and get knocked
Yeah.
out the cup. So it's going to be, it's going to be one of those games where I think if we just focus on us, play to our strengths, and get the crowd engaged for the start, then I'm pretty confident that what will be, and we'll probably get a victory on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously going back to the fans, it's like Sunday. It's obviously with the Celtic fans and stuff. Even getting off the bus, they're giving you all sorts. So
Pelters.
yeah, so like things like that. Obviously, nobody's weak enough mentality wise to be like, oh shit, like they've got fans and da da da. But you see when they get a corner or they play a good pass or make a good tackle and their fans start making noise off it, you don't go under. But it's like when they keep getting waves of attack and you're clearing the ball, you keep clearing it and clearing it. But obviously because Celtic press so high, when you are clearing that ball, they're going to be like 3v1 or 2v1. So the odds are against you. So obviously second half we changed up and we went higher, we pressed a lot higher. But sometimes you genuinely cannot press high because they've got the ball. So if you go gung-ho chasing them about, you'll be 3-0 down before you know it.
Yeah, they'll just pop you in there, and they'll
Yeah.
just pop it and score. And like you said, getting off that bus must have been intimidating for Andy Halliday.
Yeah,
they'd have been waiting just for Halliday. Probably didn't even. You could have walked in, you could have drove in. They wouldn't even have bothered. They're just standing waiting on Halliday. Like,
nah, they had it out for him. But as I say, like Andy's got the mentality to just put that to the back of his mind. That don't, that comes with the game, and he's experienced enough to not let that hinder his game. And I think obviously Sunday reversing that, we'll have our fans doing the same thing to them. And if like Gaz, Boise do something good, cross the ball, we get a corner or we score, that noise, it affects teams. And we never have to ask our fans to like G them up or whatever. They're going to support from minute one. So we're looking forward to it.
and I like the Sunday for the fact that there'll be about 2,000 Aberdeen fans there as well. It's good to have away fans in as well. Do you know what I mean? It just helps that atmosphere. If you know what I mean? Like I think even like look at Sunday at Celtic Park or whatever. For no reason whatsoever, they didn't allow Hearts fans in when the stadium was nowhere near full. And I just think that adds to football, isn't it? It's what you want if you've got 1,000 fans in the corner or whatever. It helps counter, like you said. If you make a good tackle, you can hear your fans in the corner, or you get a corner, or you get a good attack, you can hear your fans. It kind of G's you up. And I think football with only home fans is kind of missing the point of what football is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like being a fan, I think like obviously I'm a fan of Arsenal, and I used to love going to the games and seeing the away crowd make noise and fans bantering each other, singing things about somebody or whatever. That is football. And as you said, like fans go home and like they think about that. And even Sunday there'll be people coming probably steaming as they should be and just enjoying the game, making noise, going back. Like people live for football, you know what I mean? And happily they're getting to come back in and full capacity and stuff like that. So it's great.
That should be decent. Like it should. No wonder you're in a dark place following Arsenal. Jeez. Jesus, what is happening
mate,
there?
Honestly, I can't speak about it. Honestly, all my shirts they've gone on. I won't be wearing them.
I took them down. Posters off the wall.
It's done, mate. We're finished.
You used to have Tony Adams above your bed. So
Thierry Henry, but even that, you go from having him as your captain, club captain, and now it's
crazy stations.
Xhaka and Aubameyang, like I don't know what's going on, mate. It's outrageous.
It is outrageous. One of the weirdest things that ever happened to me in football happened at the Emirates. I went to, remember they used to do the Emirates Cup?
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
It was like a pre-season tournament or something. We were like the main, where the tunnel is, I don't know what the stand's called, but we're like the top tier.
Yeah.
and there was literally some. Remember, you used to get like that PSP, like the PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
There was literally a man sitting in front of me watching the game on his PSP
Oh,
whilst
mate,
the game was happening in front of him. I was like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, that honestly, see the Emirates, like it's a library. It's if you compare it to Highbury, it's like, obviously I only went there when I was a kid, but like I still remember that. I don't remember well, I remember a couple of games in the Emirates, but like it's just not the same. You know what I mean? You go into these big places expecting to hear noise, you don't.
Aye, that's well. We're going to talk about the difference about Scotland and England in terms of football and that as well. But that's a good place to start as well, because, like you said, the English football in the lower leagues, I still think they've got that sort of passionate fan base or whatever. But the bigger clubs in England, like your Arsenals, your Man United, your Man Cities, your Liverpools and stuff, they're pure myths, like you said, in terms of the atmosphere. I've been lucky enough to be to a few games. I've been to Old Trafford for Man United games. I've been to Man City and stuff, and it's, if they didn't have 30% tourists, there'd be barely
Yeah,
anybody there.
yeah, that's what I mean. I think, like, even going to what you just said, then, like, lower leagues. I've played in the lower leagues in England, and you know, I've been at some clubs where the fans are really good. You know, I was at Lincoln in the Conference and League Two, and we used to get 10,000 every week at home. Sorry, so like there is your clubs, and obviously Tranmere fans as well. Like there's good following, but I think there's a lot of clubs where, you know, like a Tuesday night game, probably like 100 people, like
Yeah,
100 away fans, or maybe like 2,000, 3,000 home fans. So I think in terms of the fan like topic, up here is miles better. Like I think if we had a Tuesday game, they'd still, and it was away, and the capacity would be full, no doubt, no
uh,
matter where it is. And you know, obviously, like in England, it's for some reason it's seen as like a lot better than Scottish football and whatnot. But I'm very sure I'd rather watch this league than League One, because I think it's a lot different, to be honest, and just better
it
games.
all comes down to how it's sort of branded into it. Sky are very, very good at making it seem like, you know, every game is like they could get a Newcastle Brighton game that ends 0-0 and make it seem like it was of Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher talk for 45 minutes about how the goalkeeper hit by kicks, and it's like, fucking hell. The game was shite, lads. Just talk about something else. I'd pay money to watch you talk about something else. No, talk about this.
That's what I mean. England, like you see it just in terms of players. Like I think you've seen it, like Sancho now, like that much money. I think if you're an English player and you do well anywhere, the hype is a lot different to someone else coming in and, I don't know, saying like, say like a Scottish player up here does well, he'd probably go for 2-3 mil. But if
Yeah.
he's English and there's hype around him, he goes for 10-15 now.
Well, look
So
at, was it Ben Williams? Is that the guy? Is that the guy Arsenal signed?
Ben White, yeah,
Ben White. You look at, tell me John Souttar isn't he as good or not better than him? Do you know what I mean? And
that's what I mean. It's like it's just like a lot of hype, because Soapy's unbelievable,
yeah,
and I believe Soapy can play wherever he wants to, like, get himself to. But I think sometimes, as you said, like Scottish football's looked upon, and do you know what? I wouldn't say I looked down on it, but I was quite skeptical of it, and I didn't really know what I was getting. So before I come to Hearts, I was like, like I don't know, because to be honest, I didn't watch enough of Scottish football to understand anything about the game. So obviously I'd done my research and I tapped into Hearts quite a lot, and not any disrespect to clubs that I've been, but I'd say Hearts is the biggest club I played for. Like,
but
and
it's like you said, it's that thing in England. It's sort of vogue to look down your nose at it and kind of say, "Oh, it's." And don't get me wrong, there's still stuff up here that could be better. There's things that are tin pot. We should never have a plastic pitch in the Premier League. I don't think that does the game any sort of favours or whatever. But when you look at club size, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen have won European Cups. I think
yeah,
someone mentioned it the other day there about Middlesbrough. In the League Cup, they made 11 changes. It's like Middlesbrough in their history have won one trophy, and that
yeah,
was in like 2004. And
yeah,
yet, the one realistic opportunity they have to win the cup is the League Cup and yet they've changed their full squad, and it's like, what do fans want? Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas up here you got, like, look at St Johnstone last year, they just won the cup
Yeah.
double. That's
Yeah.
outrageous. That's outrageous. You know, the sizes of the clubs up here are massive, and like you've said there, you could have 60,000 in Old Trafford, and if only 20,000 fans are singing, it doesn't sound great. Whereas
Yeah.
there's going to be 20,000 fans in Tynecastle on Sunday, and every single one of them will be up for it and singing, and it'll sound like 60,000.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's like, obviously you have, like you said then, like Man City. To be honest, like I've even got friends that, like, all of a sudden now they watch City and it's just like you're not a fan. Like, a fan is someone that's like, it's in the family, it runs in the family, and it has for
Aye.
maybe the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And now it's like Man City. I think you've probably seen it when Jack Grealish got revealed, and there was like probably about 300 people there. Like, it's crazy, mate. And like, you just sort of look at that and think that's like one of the biggest clubs in the world, but it's just sort of a social media kind of thing.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, the biggest thing I hate my dad for is the fact that I made me support Hearts. Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't choose this. I had absolutely no choice. I didn't wake up and decide, what football team do I want to pick? I just got told that I'm following Hearts, and that's my burden to carry.
Nah, but I think like, for me, that serves more purpose in terms of football, like being a football fan. Like, I don't know, I think when boys are choosing their own clubs and that, like, they like the club and whatnot, but see, when your dad's telling you, oh, listen, this is who you got to support, this is this is what happened at the club, like, you sort of become like part of the furniture of it. And
Yeah.
I think that's bigger than just sort of picking your own team.
100%. And I think, like you said, it's the fact that you'll know about the foundation of Hearts, and the fact that, you know, the club, we don't just, Hearts fans just didn't pay for season tickets. They donate money every single month to go into the football club. Numerous times we've raised £1 million to pay off a debt when we were in administration, and all that kind of crazy stuff. Like, Hearts fans love the football club, would do anything for the football club, which is why it's like, that's why I'm excited for, like, you guys. I'm excited for you and Halliday and Kingsley and whoever else that's never experienced Tynecastle, because Sunday will be crazy on Sunday. Like, I actually can't wait. It's going to feel like you actually play for Hearts.
Nah, but I think, like, obviously I know it'll be mad, but I think even, see, like, in terms of like your social media and stuff, like, some of the messages I get, it's like I can just tell these people love the club. And you know, obviously the gaffer, like, it gets onto all of us about that. You know, he reminds us of who we play for, and like, not just in terms of the club, but like the people inside it, like you, like the fans. So, you know, we know what it means to play for Hearts, like, so we can only like do good things this season, hopefully.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So that's what the last thing we'll talk about there is just sort of future. What are you hoping to kind of get out of Hearts? What would be, if you were to look back in a couple of years' time and deem it as a successful time?
Do you know what? I think just sort of winning things. I think any player would say the same thing. You know, I don't want to be that guy that was like, oh yeah, he was a good player. That I'd rather them say like, oh yeah, he was part of the team that won this and won that. So, you know, obviously we get these big hitters in the league and stuff, but I don't know why like anybody would think that we're not trying to do our best to win that. You know what I mean? And you know, there'll obviously be tough games against Rangers and Hibs and Aberdeen and Celtic, but you know, we back ourselves against these teams. Obviously, we'll set up different in certain games, but we're not setting up to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing as well, because as personally for myself, if I was ever anywhere where everyone didn't want to win, I wouldn't stay there. So
Right. And I think that's, you'll notice that Hearts are a bit of a club to beat just now, because of the fact that, you know, we've had financial troubles and we've had the stuff that happened last year. But Hearts, for a long time, have been one of the only clubs that, when you hear their chairman talk or their managers talk or their players talk, that talk about having ambition to actually try and win something, Do you know what I mean? Because we're the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It'll be very, very, very difficult to stop Celtic or Rangers because of the money they have, the fan base, but also the fact that we have to play them 4 times a season. Do you know what I mean
Yeah.
that? You look at Leicester, for example, when they won the Premier League, they could have got a draw at Man City and beat them at home. Then they know they don't have to play the best team in the league ever again. Whereas you can get momentum, and then you have to play. You could play Celtic at Celtic Park, and then Ibrox with Rangers within a week each other, and then you know that actually in a month's time or 2 months' time, I'm going back to Celtic
Yeah.
Park and Ibrox, which makes it really difficult. But why wouldn't, like you said there, that's all Hearts fans want, is why wouldn't we say, well, if we go out and win as many games as we can, then
Yeah.
let's see where we finish.
Yeah, and I think we've, like, obviously before the season starts, you sort of have these meetings, and it's like obviously every manager will get set targets and stuff like that, but obviously he wants to break them targets. So everybody wants to break them targets. So like, I think for like myself and the boys as well, we'll take it game by game and just see how far it takes us.
Good. Right. I'll apologise because I'm going to ask you some of the questions for Twitter. Right.
Ah,
So-
shit.
First off, do you know what a packed lunch is?
A packed lunch.
Like a packed lunch
Yeah,
box?
like what
when you
you
were
take
at
to
school
school.
and that.
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah.
So one of the questions was Alistair Crookshanks asked if you would sign his packed lunchbox for him.
Happily, mate. Happily.
So he's like 40 or something, so it's fine. He asked that. You've had a couple of marriage proposals as well, so I don't know if
Marriage.
you've had a couple of sliding into our DMs to ask if you would marry them. To be fair, he looks quite nice. I don't know. But I think we've covered most of the Twitter questions and stuff like that. We'll end it like we always do. We'll just fire through some quick fire questions where you can get slaughtered into your teammates. All right.
Perfect.
Right. First off, best dressed.
Best dressed. Do you know what? I'm gonna say someone, but he's only getting it because at the minute, because of COVID and stuff, Gogsy can't wash our kit. So the
Right.
boys are washing their kit and just coming in their kit.
Right.
So at the moment, McInnes on top, but he has a right goal. It don't make sense. Like,
Right.
I'm
Is it-
talking designer every day.
Oh, really?
Something designer every day. Like, if it's not
Your
Alexander
Balenciagas or
McQueen or
something?
something. Yeah. He loves it, but he tries to play it off like, oh, nah, I ain't having a goal.
Ain't
Like,
nothing,
I'm
aye.
just, yeah, he's acting like it's normal, but.
Is he ever going to get his haircut finished? What is that, Barnet, man?
I'll
Run out
ask
of
him.
money?
I'll ask him, mate. I'll
Aye,
ask
ask
him.
them. They running up too big a bill. They just stopped it there. Catch you next time. What about the worst dressed?
Worst dressed. Oh,
Craigie Gordon's got to be up there. He looks like
nah.
No, he's suave.
Nah, see in my eyes, Craigie just, I think he's perfect. He's my
He's
hero,
a
mate.
handsome man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a joke at everything. Like, nobody, see, like, in the changing room, just can't come for Craigie. Even
Really?
myself, like, I'd probably say I'm by far the loudest person. I don't get on Craigie. I'm scared. So
I know we've spoke about it there and we're trying to have a laugh, but when you think that Celtic let him go on a free transfer, it's a joke, man. Him and Alan McGregor will be up there as the two best keepers, probably in Britain. Easy.
yeah, I wouldn't like go against that. Craigie's honestly like, sometimes in training, like I'll do something, beat someone, go to shoots, going in top corner or whatever, saves it. I'll get the rebound, saves it. Like, he's just a freak of nature. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it.
The best thing about him is he knows as well. He absolutely knows.
See, when like obviously like through the week, the gaffer will do like little drills where we're trying to play a certain way, and very rarely, but like say, I don't know, let's say Soapy steps in and passes it to the opposition, the team that sets up against the starting lineup, and everyone will be like, Soapy, come on, gotta be better, or like, Gino, come on, like, what you doing? As soon as Craigie makes a mistake, just silence from everybody. Nobody will say a word to him, mate. But he's earned that. Like, obviously, he's probably had, well, he has him and Nazy's best careers, and you know they deserve that because they're top players. And But yeah, Craig is. I'd probably say worst dress. Let's go. You know what? I'm gonna go cheesy.
Cheesy.
Yeah, he's just. I don't know what's wrong with him, mate. Something's not right in his head.
The goalkeepers are like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but you say that Craig is normal. Cheesy, he's like comes in, just randomly argues with everyone, and then just leaves in bad gear, mate. So
what are we talking about? Like bootcut jeans and that?
just just little sets that don't make sense. Like you'll have shorts and then a jacket, and like it just don't make sense to me anyway. But Cheesy's that guy that argues with everyone.
Well, I was going to ask you who's the moniest, but then I remembered that you play with Stephen Naismith last year, now he's a coach, so you can't beat Naisy for
I don't
moaning,
know,
but
you know.
Cheesy up there.
I'd say Smudge.
Really?
Michael Smith is the moodiest man ever on the pitch.
Really?
Honestly, mate. Yeah, like obviously the gaffer's got quite a lot of young boys up with us this season, and you know, it honestly like it'll always be me and Smudge on the same side. But say if we're doing crossing and finishing and the ball bobbles a bit, he's right on them. Like he just moans all the time. But he's a legend. Like we love him for. He's funny.
He's Mr. Underrated at Hearts. He is a 7 out of 10 every week.
I'd say more than that though. Like
week.
I think out of everybody in the team, I'd probably say I've never ever seen him have a bad game, or like even it sounds stupid, but even like a mistake. Like I don't see him make mistakes. Like he's just very good, and you know he's one of the key players to our team. I think you know without him in the team, we'd probably be a bit shakier. So
yeah, but everybody loves Mikey Smith, like everybody does. Who's got the best parter?
Oh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because we've got quite a good mix, but trying to think. I'd say all round I'll go for Halliday. Halliday's a funny man.
Aye.
Like
he
just
steals off Cy Ferry's jokes, though, doesn't he? He just whatever Cy Ferry says in the podcast, he comes in and regurgitates.
He's hilarious on me. Like I laugh at Andy probably more than I laugh at Gaz. And
did you watch his? Did you see Andy Halliday's open goal thing where he tells the story about Alan McGregor when they were on the end of season trip or whatever, where he's doing half volleys? Mate,
nah, I haven't watched. Get on it, man. I haven't watched it.
Get on it, man. It's right. It's like the last.
Where's that on? Is that
it's on YouTube? It's Andy Halliday with Cy Ferry. His interview. It is the funniest football story I think I've ever heard. It's amazing, man. It's so good. Who's got the worst parter?
Worst. I'll probably say probably Cheesy. Cheesy.
Getting it, like.
Who else have we got? I'm trying to think. Oh no, in fact, take Cheesy out of it. Peter Harron.
Oh really?
I don't even know why he like tries. He's so boring, mate.
Is it?
Like Pete's the most boring man you will ever meet.
Big dad Pete.
Like even his jokes are like just a dad joke.
Really?
Yeah, he's miles off it in that way. He knows it as well, but he don't like admitting it.
He's team handsome as well, though, isn't he?
Pete.
Nah,
I tell him he's miles off it every day.
Really?
Yeah, but we've got a good relationship. Like he's always on my case, I'm always on his. So,
good.
But he's got a style. Like he's different. That's why I like him. Like he's his own person. So
that's what you want. Who's the teacher's pet? Who sucks up to Robbie?
I'm trying to think. Like I've got a few names. Right, I would say Hawks always getting bullied. Who else could you say? Pete a little bit. He'll just take everything. Who else have we got? I'll probably say Hawks.
Hawks.
Yeah, definitely.
We teacher's pet. There we go. Who's the stupidest? Who could you actually tell anything and they'd believe it?
Oh, we've got a few of them. I'll probably say, is Boise stupid? Nah. Do you know what? Walker's dumb. Walker's so dumb. Who else we got? Trying to think. We haven't. Gaz is dumb. Gaz just like, you can tell him everyone's spun our fine wheel and he'll believe you and he'll just start spinning it. So his fines will double and stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to think. We've got a few. We've got a few. I'm probably up there myself, but I'd say them two are the top two.
And then the last one, who's the most likely to become a manager, do you think?
Probably Craigie.
Craigie?
In fact, now I say that, Craigie ain't bothered. Nah, I can't see him working, like, going into management after football. That's actually a good question. Maybe Kingsley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kingsley's like, I could see him being a manager. Little waistcoat and that.
He'd have the gear in it. Robbie's got some decent gear, to be fair, on the touchline, hasn't he? He's got a bit about him.
To be fair, like, see on that front, the gaffer always gets on to me about how I dress, so I can't give him no compliments.
All right, so that's
just any pair of trainers I've got on, he says they're terrible, but so I can't give him no compliment on that side.
Right, well, this is the last one. What's worse, Andy Halliday's receding hairline or Jig's teeth?
Oh shit!
Basically, my miles off it.
Oh nah.
Halliday's saving up for a Turkey job, isn't he? He's heading to Turkey in the pre-season, like.
That's why he's opened up his Twitch, mate. Honestly,
Trying to get a crowdfunding for a hair transplant.
Oh man. Do you know what? I think Jig's teeth are very good though. Like, he loves them as well.
Yeah,
like, he laughs with like full teeth.
Yeah, he deliberately talking so his teeth are. Like, you can tell he's paid money for them. He wants folk to see them.
Nah, do you know what? Just because Andy's my boy, I'm gonna go with Jig's teeth. I'll go with Jig's teeth.
That's sound. Right, my man. Thanks a lot for talking to us. That's class.
All the
best, mate. All the best for Sunday in the season.
Are you going? Are you gonna be there Sunday?
We're going. We're going. We sit. So you come out the tunnel, right hand side where we always shoot first half at the corner flag, right up the very top where most of the singing and that'll come from. We've got a big flag. I don't know if you've maybe seen it on Twitter or whatever. We've got it's like a 50-foot by 25-foot flag for Marius Saliukis.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have that out on Sunday, and we're trying to talk with the club about trying to get like those tifo display things that like you hold stuff up.
Oh yeah.
So we'll try to get something sorted for the Hibs game and all that.
That'll be unreal.
Yeah, we're trying to get it. Try to get it sorted, which should be class. But I will be there Sunday.
Perfect, mate.
You'll see me booing you. I'll be doing booing you. You're fucking useless.
I don't mind it, mate. Honestly, I hear all sorts. Yeah. But now, honestly, thank you for that. Thanks for interviewing me or whatever you call it.
That's cool, my man. Cheers.
No worries. Take care.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bike Speed UK. Any Jambo using the promo code This Is My Story will get 10% off at checkout.
For every biker's every need, think Bike Speed UK. From motorcycle parts and accessories to the best biker wear. Think bike, think Bike Speed UK.
Cool. Right, well, let's dive into headlines for the week. Then we'll have a wee quick look back over the Celtic shit show, and then we'll preview Aberdeen because there's hunters to be buzzing about come Sunday. Full house, 12,500 season tickets sold, which we'll come on to in a wee second. So we'll cheer ourselves back up previewing what will be a glorious, hopefully, home victory against the Sheep. So headlines in the world of Hearts this week. Tuesday night now, basically it's confirmed that Ben Woodburn of Liverpool, I believe that's his name in it, has agreed personal terms to join the famous from Liverpool on an initial half-season loan and with an option to remain at the club. Further, he's into the last year of his contract at Liverpool. He's just played featured quite heavily in Liverpool's pre-season. He's a full Welsh internationalist. Can play wide, can play through the middle, looks quite strong, quite direct, and comes very, very, very highly rated from Liverpool. Anybody get any thoughts, know anything about him?
I just hope he's not another Conor Randall, but I'm willing to hope he does well.
Seems to have had a great pedigree. International caps with Wales as well. Appreciate they're maybe not the same team as they have been over the years internationally, but they've still got some great players there, and he's definitely been able to take a stance in that team with Bale and others. So yeah, I think he also did help Sheffield United actually get up to the Premier League a couple of seasons back. So seems to be a decent player.
Shanks, gives the lowdown.
Reached out to a couple of Liverpool bellends who highly rate him.
Right.
He's the most up and coming youngster in years. Why are we signing him?
In what sense?
What position does he play?
He can play, like I said, out wide or through the middle or up front.
Right. Well, he's clearly not an out-and-out striker. Out wide, we're covered. Through the middle, we're drowning in players through the middle. I don't know why we're signing him, but if he's class, brilliant. Let's fucking get him in. Any chance of signing a striker though? That'd be cool.
I believe that Ben Woodburn can play as a striker as well.
But can play as a striker or is a striker? There's a difference. I want a proven out-and-out striker for signing a striker, not can play. Craig Halkett can play as a striker.
Can he?
Ismail Bouzy played as a striker once.
Oh,
on the show.
You just gave away the Shanks McCant Remembers.
Fucked up the Shanks McCant Remembers.
Like the one that, in case no one has listened to every single show that's ever went and didn't know that was Boozy scoring. Well, I think there's a couple of things that we like to talk about. Again, the way Hearts are doing their business. We're not hearing about these deals until the deals are done. The calibre of the player that we're trying to bring in as well. They're not just nobody's getting semi-decent contracts or whatever. These are young, up-and-coming players that we could potentially, for example, he could sign on properly with us. Could sign a contract like Benny. Could potentially be very, very good for the football club. He's on his last year of his contract, so he's playing basically to impress, to get contracts, whether it be at Liverpool, whether it be somewhere else or whatever. He's played down south. He's an internationalist. If you look at, for example, we'll come on to it in a minute, the Celtic shit show, I don't think realistically until the start of this second half that the midfield did anywhere near enough in terms of protecting the ball, using the ball wisely and making the ball do the work, if you know what I mean. We just basically cleared it and then it came back to us. So you're looking at Halliday in there, you're looking at Haring, you're looking at McAneff, the players that we've brought in so far. We've brought in Benny, we're bringing in, and we'll talk about in a second, this Cameron Devlin guy as well, and then this Ben Woodburn guy or whatever. It seems that we're looking to strengthen the middle of the park as much as we possibly can. I think they're an upgrade on all of the players that we've just mentioned there, for me anyway, Andy.
I totally agree. And I'm just glad that we're finally moving away from the days of signing utter dross. Like, remember when we were signing people like Mallory Martin and Struna and Cholis and all this absolute dross.
Cholis.
That thing you've just said there was the best thing about him, was the fact they had a song. But even then, the rest of them, total dog shit. I'm just delighted that we're signing players that look like they could be actually worth something and might do us a turn.
Yep, they're young enough, getting the age of the squad down, which is decent. And I think it's the conversation that has to be had is the fact that it does seem that like Halliday, Haring, McAneff, they don't seem fancied by Robbie or whatever, for whatever reason, the way we want to play. I think they're looking for us to be a bit more dynamic in the middle of the park, and I don't think you get mobility with Peter Haring. I don't think you get the mobility in terms of Halliday. I actually think Halliday's a much better wing back than he is a centre midfielder. So again, you look at the players that we're bringing in. I think if we could bring him in and sign a centre back. I think we've went about our business pretty well this transfer window for me. Like, obviously Shanks is wanting us to sign Mbappe if PSG bring in Ronaldo or whatever. You want a proven striker.
It's class. I mean, what we've done is we've brought in 8 players that all play the same position. That's absolutely superb. So I think we'll win the league.
Good. I think we'll win the league too. I think we'll absolutely win the league. Who all plays the same position though?
Woodburn, Devlin, Halliday, Haring, McAnuff, Benny, and I don't know if McGill still plays for us, but him.
There's not an unknown Airdrie.
Miguel? Oh,
Just
no, you're right, sorry.
Score
Right.
a
So
You're
what to do is
absolutely
just
right.
ignore
Sorry.
everything I just said for the last 23 seconds and just focus on that bit. Aye, cool.
Aye.
So,
I'd
but
also-
it's all right because Boise will score 48 goals this season. That's sound.
I don't think Robbie Nielsen signed half of the players you just mentioned, if I'm being honest. Did they?
I didn't realise we were being that fucking pedantic about it. I thought we were just talking about the players that played for Hearts. But okay, that's fine. I just think that we're a wee bit light up top. But no, I have to say, linking back to friend of the show, Mr. Savage, our recruitment has been excellent and we have gone about our business in a very eloquent way and we've brought in some high caliber players who so far have been good. I'm not disappointed with any of our new additions. I would just like to have seen a little bit more in the top end of in the field, as they say in the NFL. That's all I'm getting at.
My only concern about Woodburn coming in is potential for it to change the shape, because it's ideal to play 4-2-3-1 because you could play Boyce up front by himself, you could play GMS wide, Ginnelly wide, and you could play Woodburn as a 10. So that would be my only caveat to that would be that I'm a bit worried at that. But then to counter that, Hearts have just beaten Hearts B, have just put Edinburgh City out of the cup, and we played 3-4-3. That's a formation that we seem to be sticking with the reserve team. We played it Sunday, albeit it was more a 3-5-1-1, but it's still 3-4-3 depending on with and without the ball type thing. But I do agree, we do seem to be heavy in midfielders, but I'm okay with that as long as the people that we're bringing in are of the same standard as Benny, because he added to the squad. He was better than what we already have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was an unknown. He was an unknown quantity at the time, and he's absolutely proved us all wrong. Fabulous.
Yeah, true. Kev.
Oh, it's exactly that, isn't it? The fact that you brought in somebody of his calibre, you can't just have that one player of that calibre. You need to have another couple of players along the same wavelength who have that way of playing football, and with that then everybody else starts to learn from it as well. So if you can bring Woodburn in, you have Benny in, and hey, who's to say we can't bring another person into the team between now and the end of August? Those kind of 3 high calibre players can then help players. We all know that Suter's already Rolls Royce, as you call him, Corbett, and we know that. Similarly, the boy Cochrane, he's looked all right. You know, there's maybe a couple of wee bits and pieces that he needs to brush up on. But if we can start to bring that quality and that calibre of player into the club, it allows even the younger players, you know, to actually sort of push on. You look at Pollock as an example, and I think that's maybe who Shanks was talking about earlier on. Pollock could learn a hell of a lot off these kind of players, and that beds well for the future as well.
Yeah, and that's what just to talk about what we said, there's touch on the Savage thing about the way he's done his business. Is that's in years gone past, we've just, like you said, we signed 4 left backs hoping that one of them would be good, 4 or 5 right backs hoping one of them would be good. We've had this sort of scattergun approach where he's available, bring him in. You know, it's worth a punt. Why not? Let's have 33 squad members. Hopefully, one of them will impact us and be better. We seem to be a lot more strategic to be like, no, we're only bringing people in that are going to be better than what we have, and that so far we've seen. You know, I think Cochrane's been a good addition. I think he's been solid. Benny has been superb. I think he's made a big difference as well. It looks like this Cam Devlin guy is the type of player that we've been missing for a while. And Woodburn, again, his stats and stuff and the way that he that he's thought of in Liverpool seems to definitely be one that will improve the squad. Shanksy.
No, I was just going to say, but there's nothing wrong with backfilling the engine room. So it's not like we don't have confidence in our attackers. So, GMS, Gino, Boise, all had a blinding pre-season. Really impressive so far. So yeah, if we're just trying to make sure that they get the assists and get the service that they need, then yeah, fine. It just feels like we're a little bit heavy in the middle of the park at the back, but that's fine. Obviously, there's a reason for it. Can't argue. Apart from the little blip there at the weekend, we've been doing all right. So carry on.
Aye. And then the other thing that's circulating, that doesn't seem to be any sort of truth or movement in the sort of Katic stuff. I think people have sort of had that in the back of their mind that Nico Katic has been told by Rangers that he's free to find a new club or whatever, but I don't think there's any truth in rumours that we are interested in him. So again, if the window was to shut tomorrow and you were to prioritise one signing, where would it be for you, Ando? Where do you think we need to sign someone?
Well, just to shittle over Shanks' point, I would say, again, midfield. I think the more competition you have for places in the centre of the park, the better. It gives you options. While we don't want to steer away from the shape that has brought us success so far this season, there are going to be times where we need to adapt that. There will inevitably be injuries across the season. So I think the more depth you have in the squad in that area of the park, I think that only serves you well. I think we're okay up top. I think we've got a few levers that we can pull in that space. Maybe a little bit of a question mark on the defence and how that's organised. But yeah, I'd say midfielders. I think our recruitment policy has been fine so far.
I agree with the recruitment policy. I think it has been good. I think I'm probably maybe in the same boat as you, Corbett. I think a centre half. Concerned that we don't want to see if you lose either Halkett or you lose Suter. Yeah, okay, Smith can move inside. I get that, but then you're looking at then who's playing that right hand side of that back three, if that's going to be your setup. So I would be interested to see a good quality centre half coming in, especially them telling Popescu he can go, which I agree with. So from that point of view, yeah, give me a centre half if that was going to be the priority with the window closing tomorrow.
Yep, echoed. And then Shanks midfielders, or what you're going for?
No, Ando's absolutely slavering bucket loads of fish, and he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. We've got Hunters players, 9 to be specific, who can play in that holding midfield role. Actually, Kev's just nailed it for me. Right back, if Smith gets injured, I'm a bit nervous. It's got to be a striker. We need a goalman. Boise gets injured next weekend. We're done. We're absolutely done. Gino's not interested. Henderson's not got the legs.
Nando.
Aye, no Gino. Sorry.
Yeah, not the guy that we've just had on the podcast. Nah, he wasn't interested at all. For anyone that's just listened, what a total slavering bastard.
Well, no. But the man Nando's got a G in front of his name. So do you know Gino Nando? I talk a lot of pish. Aye, yep. There we go. Striker. Cut that
Striker.
bit. I would like a striker.
Good.
One of the goal scoring fellas.
One of the goal scoring fellas. Well, that's what we want. And then the last headline is what we spoke about. We spoke about it heavily with Gino. We've already touched on it here as well. Obviously, Sunday sold 12,500 season tickets. General sale for actual tickets go on sale tomorrow for Aberdeen. This game will sell out. It looks like Sunday's going to be an absolute full house. I, for one, cannot wait. Shanks, what's your thoughts for Sunday and it being full to the brim and bouncing?
Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a real eye opener for some of the new signings. I think we've had a terrific start to the season, and only good things are going to happen. I think we'll roll in, and we'll forget about League Cup, and we'll do them 2-0. No issues at all. Buzzing. And I'm also delighted to see some away fans in, because I think closing them out, as we were closed out in Glasgow, is bollocks. So, it'll be good to get a bit of patter back with the away fans again.
True. 2,000 Aberdeen fans coming down. So straight away, that's 14,500 before the general sale starts for tickets or whatever. We'll absolutely 100% be seeing a full house. Kev, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm looking forward to it. I have not been at a game since we papped Hibs at Easter Road way before this outbreak occurred. I wasn't fortunate enough to get a ticket for the Celtic game, and I didn't have my season ticket sorted out for the draw earlier on for the League Cup. So I've not had the chance to actually get inside Tynecastle since I think the 2-2 draw with Hamilton at the early part of last year, which I think was about February. So I cannot wait. I am absolutely itching to get back inside. Do I wish it was a different away support? Yeah, because I really want a wee bit of venom. But I'm just that way inclined. So looking forward to the next game, which I believe will be the derby.
Aberdeen are always a bit weird. They've got this weird thing with us as well. Remember, out of all the clubs in Scotland that didn't like Romanoff for some strange reason, they particularly didn't like Romanoff, which I found really strange.
He wanted to park his submarine in the
submarine
harbour at Aberdeen. That was the reason.
Did they not used to throw toilet rolls or ticket receipts at us? Was that
Money.
another part?
Fake
Oh,
money.
money.
And then they had like a Lithuanian state circus banner. Like, what? Why do you care? Why,
Yes.
everybody? Why would you care?
Must have something to do with like the temperature or something like that. It gets colder up there, so it maybe affects their brain. I don't know.
Aye, well, it certainly affected fucking Jordan McGee's brain when he done his NBA.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It was Christoph Berra's just absolutely ragdolled him on Sunday and knocked him at the League Cup anyway, so I'm pretty sure we'll be sound. Ando, what's your thoughts for Sunday? Obviously, you're coming north of the border.
I'm absolutely buzzing. I've got my tickets booked them today. I'll be on the 10:10 train leaving Newcastle, Coach K, the LNER service for anyone that wants to meet me for a bevy that's travelling up. I will quite happily get sozzled with you on the train on the way up. It's going to be emotional, as we covered in as you covered in the Ginnelly interview earlier on. The first time being back at Tynecastle with a full house. I'll tell you now, the amount I'm going to bevy on the train, I'll probably cry. And I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I think we're definitely in with a chance of getting a good result. Obviously, Aberdeen got stuffed at the weekend off Wraith Rovers, and they're away to Azerbaijan to play some team called Carrier Bag. So yeah, we're winning. We're winning on Sunday. I don't see anything else other than a massive, massive victory. Great day out for all on Sunday.
Well, I do hope you'll be drinking out your carrier bag on the train, because I'm not actually sure that there's a bevy service. I also hope that you wake up in Bells Hill, but I'm quite looking forward to seeing your pus.
Thanks, mate.
And to get serious for a second, we've seen a couple of things being floated around in terms of doing something to honour Zal. Obviously, this will be the first home game where we've had the full house, as close to being back to normal as possible. We've seen things like, folk are suggesting that we do a mass twirly on the 26th minute for the man himself. We obviously have the flag. We'll bring the flag on Sunday. I had reached out to the club to ask if the club are potentially going to do, a minute's applause before the game or whatever for all the Jambos that sadly lost their lives to COVID or have lost their lives since the last time we managed to have fans in. So hopefully the club understand that Sunday's going to be a highly charged, highly emotional day and have something prepared where we can, honour the people that, because we've said a million times before, and without getting all deep, we touched about it with Gino as well, about just how much football clubs, not just our football club, that's rivalries aside, Hibs and Aberdeen and Rangers and Celtic and Motherwell, all of them will have the exact same feelings as us, that your football club is the lifeblood of your life almost, and it'll be a nice touch if we can do something to honour everybody that hasn't made it through COVID. So hopefully we get some of that sorted for Sunday. We'll quickly dive into just we never did the live reactions on Sunday to the Celtic game. Nothing to do with the fact that we lost or whatever. It was just the fact that we were on different parts of the country doing different things and couldn't get together. But I think the overriding thing for us is we said it before. If Hearts show up, park the bus, and hope to hit the counter attack, we'll get scudded. And that's exactly what happened. I think the 15-minute spell after the start of the second half shows just exactly why we shouldn't have just sat off this Celtic team, because I think we've had 4 shots on target in 180 minutes against Celtic and scored 4 goals. Every shot we had against them has been a goal. We've had something like 8 or 9 dangerous attacks, and from those 8 or 9 dangerous attacks, we've scored 4 goals. 50% of those attacks resulted in us scoring. And I think, well, why the hell did we sit off a team that is notoriously bad at the back? The McAneff goal sums it up. He had about 3 attempts, he could have cleared it. They didn't, and we get a tap in their 6-yard box. Stupid. Absolutely criminal that we've sat off that Celtic side, who, by the way, have been... What annoyed me, and I spoke about it on Twitter, was it felt like we prepared to play Celtic of the Cup final. We prepared to play Celtic of last year, and it's almost like we hadn't paid any attention to the Celtic that we beat at Tynecastle 3 weeks ago, because they have been quick, they've pressed, they've been relentless attacking football. It was clear and obvious that the worst thing we could do was surrender possession to them and hope to hit them on the break. And that's exactly what we did. And I think we did have 35 shots on goal or something on Sunday. I've seen people say 3-2 isn't a pumping. It was an absolute pumping. If we got a 6-0, then we couldn't have argued, because it was relentless. It was wave after wave of attack in that first half. The first half was one of the most embarrassing Hearts performances I think I've seen in a long, long time. And I've watched the under-15s play in the relegation season when we couldn't sign players. Ando, you were particularly annoyed first half.
Absolutely incandescent with rage, I think, is what I summed it up as. And the one stat that proved it out for me was that in the first 4 minutes of the second half, we spent more minutes in the opposition box than we did in the entire 45 minutes of the first half. It was absolutely criminal. I think we were quite vocal about it, I think collectively as a group last week, that said, you know what, if we go there and go toe-to-toe with them, get right in their faces, then, you know, no one's going to argue if you get beat. Now, I think that did happen in spells of the second half. It should have been like that from the kickoff, but just coming off the back of the Ginnelly interview as well, you also think about the fact that you can't really go up against these guys when they've got so much possession of the football, but there was no game plan for us to get the ball out from the back towards the front. The passes up the front were aimless. I think Boyce in the first half, sorry Liam, I know we're calling him Liam, I know we're best pals now, but I think he had quite a poor show in the first 45 minutes with his touch. There were so many things that need to be improved on. The second 45 is what it is. I thought we played better, and I could live with that if it was just that in isolation. But the first half is so much of a massive drag factor. Really fucking annoyed me. Anyway, move on.
And like you said, it's look. Let's be honest here. We've gave Robbie Neilson pelters on here, and I'm annoyed because he's put in a hell of a lot of work, changing shape, getting players back. We look like we have a style. We look like we've got a way we want to play, and we are so much better than what we showed on the first 45 minutes on Sunday. We played horrendous. We also showed them way too much respect, which, again, that doesn't always just fall at Robbie Neilson's door. 2007, I think, the last time we won at Celtic Park. Since then, there's been 19 defeats and 2 draws. We've scored 8 goals, conceded 59. Something absolutely pathetic like that. So this isn't common to just Robbie Neilson, but it's a theme at the football club that as soon as we get past Hart Hill, heading towards Ibrox City Park, our arse collapse all the time. And the thing that annoys me the most is, I'm not saying that Hibs and Aberdeen and teams like that will go there and win, but they absolutely will go there and they'll try and play their own game. They won't. We played 8 at the back on Sunday for that first 45 minutes, and it was mental. We played 3 sitting midfielders and then 5 at the back, and left Gary Mackay-Steven and Boyce up the top by themselves, and it was dreadful.
Well, that was the issue, wasn't it? It was the fact that boys to GMS, there was so much of a gap between our effective midfield and them that as soon as the ball was cleared, there was nobody for boys could get a flick on, but nobody was going beyond them again. It was disappointing to see, and it showed you that we know. I think everybody knows it at the moment that back four or that back five of Celtics at the moment is not the strongest back five that Celtic have ever had.
It's makeshift.
That's correct. And as soon as we put pressure on them, as soon as you challenged them in the midfield and pushed onto them, didn't give them any space. We spoke about this last week. The game changed. We had, as you rightly say, Ando, we had more opportunity. We had more time in their half than we had all done for the first 45 minutes of the game. And it just shows you. And I wonder, and I hope it is the case, that the next time we go through, which I don't think is actually that far away, I think it's beginning of November or something like that.
October we're back in Glasgow, but it's against Rangers.
Yeah.
Aye, but I think we played. Did we not play them in Celtic in November? I'm hoping you're thinking, do you know what? Right, we've seen what happens when you sit back. Go and actually approach them. Go and actually challenge them in their own backyard.
Well, the problem that we have in this isn't to try and bash Robbie, because we know that he has this in his locker. When he gets bashful, he gets finger. Let's not forget that Robbie, instead of battering his players and saying they should have scored another goal against Cali and we could have avoided this because we would have been seeded, he said this was the perfect draw for us. That was his words. When we got Celtic at Celtic Park, he said this is the perfect draw for us. We then gave an absolute shit show of a first half performance, and after it, instead of saying I got it wrong, we should have engaged higher, we should have done something, Robbie said he has no regrets. And that annoys me. That if Hearts need to get their arm around them and give them some form of training, it's those comments that just do your head in. Oh, Hearts fans don't expect to see us win every week if they go watch Man City, Man United. Wait a minute, we just lost to Brora Rangers and Queen of the South. We're more than entitled to say that we should be fucking winning those games. Don't patronise us with that nonsense. Or money spinning replay. We all know that famous quote. I get that he's annoyed. I get that he's bullish, and I like that he's got that about him, like that he is angry. But don't patronise us. We know enough about the football. The stats say it's itself. 19% possession for 90 minutes of football for Hearts is a joke. 35 shots on target versus 2 shots on target. Crazy. The fact that, like I just said there, 4 shots on target in 2 games against Celtic and we've scored 4 goals. That tells you everything that you need to know. Do you know what I mean? We should have, if Ginnelly only had 60 minutes in him, give him 60 minutes. If Walker could have played, get Walker on. If I know he said they wanted to play Nando, but he got a bug or whatever, we didn't have to totally and utterly capitulate like we did. It's just very frustrating. Shanks.
So as I said, I never actually caught the game, but obviously you boys have done. And what do you change going into this weekend? What do you do to make sure that we don't do what we've done in seasons gone by and let a Glasgow derailment absolutely crucify our season?
I don't think it will. Sorry, Corbin.
No, on you go, man. On you go.
I was going to say, I don't think we have to change anything. I think the way that we've been playing so far this season is the new way that we will be doing it. What changed for me was Sunday. Sunday was the flash in the pan. That was the deviation away from the norm. I think when we got to Tynecastle on Sunday, then we'll just go back to the way we have been playing. He made a deviation off script for Celtic, and none of us should be surprised. I mean, this has been happening for how many years through previous managers? It's always the same thing that Corbett touched on. You get the nosebleed when you go past Hart Hill. It's like, oh shit, that's it. We're done here. What will change, in short, is we'll go back to the way we've been playing up until now, or up until before Sunday. For me, that's what will happen.
I was going to say that brings us on. We'll talk about Aberdeen now, anyway, before we end up. Anyway, I think, like Ando had said there, I think the fact that it's a full house, we'll go back to proper 3-4-3. We'll go to impose our game on Aberdeen. We're at home. We'll get the initiative or whatever. Half of me thinks that, you see the name Celtic comes out the hat. You're at Celtic Park, first round of the Cup or whatever. The league's a priority this year. I know he's saying Gino had a bug and Nando was injured or got a bug in that as well, he's probably thought, fuck it, man, we're not going to win anyway, man. Might as well rest some players, if you know what I mean, with one eye on Sunday. And to be honest, the goal at the end from McInnes is a bit of a godsend for Hearts and Robbie, because it makes it look like it wasn't that big a scudding, if you know what I mean, when it genuinely really was. So for Aberdeen, obviously, like we've just spoken there, and Shanks has just said it, I think we'll see, same as what we've seen there, I think we'll see Gordon, we'll see Kingsley, Suter and Halkett at the back. I think we'll see Cochrane. I think we'll see Mikey Smith. And then it's that middle two where I think we'll probably potentially see the most movement. Obviously, Benny will be in there 100%. It's probably going to be Halliday, just knowing Robbie and all that sort of stuff. Halliday seems to be his go-to man in terms of these types of games. And then it'll be the usual front field, be Boyce, Ginnelly and GMS, I would imagine. Would be my ideal. Like I said, I think what I hope we see is what we never ever saw when we were on our sort of spiral, was the fact that understanding about engaging the crowd early. If we score in the first 10 minutes, Tynecastle will be absolutely rocking. I remember the Scottish Cup, actually. I remember we played Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup first round. Callum Patterson scored the header and we knocked them out or whatever. But Tynecastle was absolutely bouncing that game, and I think we scored early. If I remember,
it was 8 minutes. It was like within the first 10 minutes, because I was at that game. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And we need to start fast, like Ando mentioned earlier. In Azerbaijan, they're going to be travelling a long time or whatever. They're going to have minutes in their legs from Thursday. We have to be absolutely out the blocks, rapid. Kev?
I was just going to mention, of course, our favourite player will be coming back, but this time in a red shirt. So I wouldn't be surprised if Halliday is in the middle of the park. The question is, will Halliday be enough to get it up? You know who? Or will he put Benny on him, or do you just go, do you know what? Fuck him. You know, ban.
He's also not impacted the Hearts versus Celtic game at Tynecastle for a long time, if I'm being honest with you. He gets bullish when he was at Celtic Park because he had 60,000 days fans, but like you've seen in old firms, he just take the piss out of him, man. He's an old guy that's gone. Don't get me wrong, he's the type of player, I've said that a million times and I'll never not say it, he's the type of player you'd absolutely love to have in your team. You know, he's an absolute born winner, but I don't think he'll impact the game too much. I just hope, like you said, Halliday, if he is playing, doesn't do anything daft and get embroiled in like his an early booking or a sending off or whatever, like straight off the bat. You're hoping that he manages the game pretty well. Right, Shanksy, what's your prediction then for Sunday?
I think we'll do them 3-1. I'm absolutely buzzing.
3-1.
And I'm never buzzing. So
yeah, that's a worry. I'm also buzzing, so we'll go to that in a minute. Ando, what's your prediction?
We cheeky 2-0 for the Hearts. That'll be us.
Are we 2-0, Kev?
I'm going 2-1. But I love the fact that Shanks has actually changed his prediction from earlier on. He was 2-0 earlier, he's doing 3-1.
I like that's how happy he's got as the shows went on.
I've had an extra Stella.
Just called it a show as well. That's awful. I think it'll be 3-0. I think we'll win quite comfortably. If we score early, I genuinely pick a number. If we score early, for me, just the buzzy, having the fans back. I'm looking at, let's get a George Burley-esque start. Absolute flying out the block. The longer the game goes at 0-0, the more it suits Aberdeen, if I'm being honest with you. Just the way, like I said to Gino that we just spoke about there, to kind of make up my mind about Aberdeen. I've watched a couple of the games and thought they looked pretty decent. And then I've seen other bits of the games and they look absolute dug meat. You know, so it's going to be the Ramirez guy up front looks like he's a handy signing. Ferguson in the middle of the park's decent as well, and then you remember they've got like McGeoch and all those type of players too. So they could be pretty handy.
You got two boys stretched off on Sunday against Wraith Rovers, didn't they?
Nah, but
Oh, did they?
yeah,
Aye.
Johnny Hayes came off with I think a hamstring injury, and I can't remember who the other one was, but I think
I
Glass.
seen him on crutches.
Glass was quite bullish. I think at the end of the game, when all was said and done, it was just a precautionary thing. He reckons they'll probably be all right, but we'll wait and see. But Aberdeen looked absolutely horrendous on Sunday, and I've seen similar to Corbett. I've seen bits of them looking good, but I've seen also bits of them looking absolutely terrible. And hopefully the flight home from Carrier Bag kicks the shit out of them.
Aye. Well, here's hoping. Cool. Anything else you just want to talk about? Or that's us jamming.
No, that's it. I think.
All good.
Cool. Well, as always, we won't be able to do a live reaction on Sunday because we'll all be at the game.
Well, we
Aye.
could probably do it on phones, but that'll get messy. So we'll probably no bother.
Why don't we just actually meet in a boozer and have a chat about it after the game?
Tell
hope-
yous
hope
or
to,
use
catch
fans
up with
out
some of
there
the
in
boys in
listener
Boozer.
land. Aye. No content for yous, but aye, we'll catch up and have a laugh.
If we can get a good Wi-Fi somewhere in Gorgie, we'll give you some live reaction.
Aye, we did.
If you are wanting an autograph, none of us have got a Sharpie, but Corbett's always got one in his sock.
I
So-
carry signed pictures with me, just in case, man. I'm always ready to go hand them out on Twitch. There you go.
Class.
Sharpie daft.
Right. As always, boys, thanks for coming. I'll see you all next time.
See you Sunday. Bye now.
Yeah.
Gorgie out.